Hello and welcome to the press conference with the top 3 drivers in qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix. We are joined today by pole sitter Lewis Hamilton for Mercedes. In second place is Valtteri Bottas, also for Mercedes. And in third place is Max Verstappen for Red Bull. Lewis, your second pole position of this season, but you said you had to dig deeper than ever to get this one. Just tell us what it means.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the best pole that I can remember. Obviously, we've had lots of success over the years, but I can't really remember one that means as much as this one, I think, being that it's been such a difficult week for the whole team. And you know, personally, it's been quite a difficult week. And so to really, obviously the goal here was always to get pole. This is such a difficult circuit. It's amazing that we've turned up as a team, continuing to take strides forward together collectively and get stronger and improving our performance weekend in, weekend out. And so I'm so proud of everyone. But you know, to have kind of a little bit of a cloud over us this weekend, we're really trying to all lift each other up and try to deliver for Nicky. And Valtteri had been doing a sensational job. I think practice 1 and practice 2 was good for me, and then today the car just didn't feel anywhere near as good as it did yesterday, on Thursday. So digging deep, throwing the car around, and Valtteri did a great lap, the first lap. I was struggling to get the first lap time out on the tires, so I did a prep lap for my first lap, and the second one was not very good. And so I pushed for that first lap at the end, and naturally I had to gain 2 tenths because Valtteri was ahead, and I thought Valtteri would be up. And so I was just throwing the car around. I'm pretty sure I touched a couple barriers on the way, but there's no better way of doing it around Monaco. And I've not had a huge amount of success here, I don't think, over the years. So it's always been a track that I've been quick, but never quite get that perfect lap, you know. And I think today was as close as I could get to it. So yeah, this one's for Nicky.
You mentioned just how tough this week's been for the team. How difficult is it as a driver to then get in and have to put the helmet on and perform and put that all out of your mind when you're in the car?
Well, ultimately we're professionals, so you get in and do what you love doing, and you know, Nicky would just want us to get in, and Nicky would just always say, "Give it arseholes." So that's what I try to do every time I get in the car. That's honestly what he says all the time. But I would just, you know, we just try to walk around with a smile and really try and all lift each other up, as I said, and do him proud. And I think so far, hopefully we are, and we have to continue to try and pull out something special tomorrow. Max has been really quick this weekend as well, so anything can happen still tomorrow. So we've still got a good job to do tomorrow, but there's no better place to start.
Well, congratulations today. Valtteri, moving on to you. You're on provisional pole at the end of those first runs, so where do you think pole position got away from you today?
Well, first of all, congrats to Lewis for the pole. He definitely did a good job. And as a team, really proud again on being 1-2 again. So it is really impressive. But yeah, my feelings on at the moment, I'm really disappointed with the qualifying. I really felt I had the speed today. I felt really good in the car all day. In the first run, I felt there was 2 or 3 tenths I can still improve, so I should have done a better job on the first run. On the second run, I had quite a bit of traffic on the outlap, so I had to go off the line in a few places on the outlap, and the tires just didn't work in the second run. So disappointing.
Obviously, track position's king here, so how do you approach the start of tomorrow's race alongside your teammate on such a narrow run to turn 1?
Well, for sure, you always aim for a good start, but here is super short distance from start to the first corner, so normally not many position changes, but obviously try to do a good start, and as a team we want to be 1-2 again. And obviously for me then it's going to be waiting for any opportunities that come up.
Thank you very much. And Max, moving on to you. You were quickest in Q2. Heading into Q3, what was the target? What was realistic? And are you satisfied with third place?
Yeah. All in all, yes. I think in general, when you look to the weekend, I think we were just missing that 2-3 tenths at the end. But yeah, Q2 was a very good lap. but also the tires were switched on. So around here, when your tires work, that makes quite a bit of a difference. And in Q3, my first run, I went into turn 1, and the rear tires were still not gripping up fully, so I lost a bit of time there. And based from there on, my lap was pretty stable compared to Q2, so it was not bad. And then my final run in Q3, I had a bit of traffic on my out lap, and when I started the lap, they just felt cold, the tires. I had no grip, and I was already 2-3 tenths above it, so I decided to abort. But in general, I think we did a good job. I think coming into this weekend, I already had the feeling we were not as strong as we were last year here. But for myself, I think it was a good qualifying. I think, this is my 5th qualifying over here, but I've only done 3 now, so this is it's really good to be here.
Well done. What can you do in tomorrow's race to try and put some pressure on the 2 guys ahead of you?
There's not much you can do, but the funny thing is that 2 of my practice starts have been from P3, so I rubbered my own box, so that's good. So we'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, normally in the race, you need to be a bit lucky. But I'm happy about today, and let's see what brings tomorrow.
Thank you. And Lewis, just returning to you, what are going to be the big threats in tomorrow's race? Obviously, starting from pole's the best place to start, but what do you have to look out for?
I think hopefully the weather stays something similar to that. I heard that there's a potential chance of rain tomorrow, but it'll be the same for all of us. And if anything, that makes it more exciting at this track. But I guess ultimately, when you're on pole, you prefer it just to be a smooth sailing kind of dry, safety car kind of day. But I think the tires that we have, it's a one-stop race generally. It has been for a long time here. And so it's really just about just keeping calm, cool, and collected, and just delivering on what we've practiced throughout the weekend. But this race, as you've seen in the previous years, lots of things get thrown at you, so we just got to stay on our toes. But I honestly feel like we're the best prepared. We've had a really solid weekend of preparation. We've had good years of experience too, but it doesn't mean that there are unknowns ahead. But we'll face it together. We always win and lose together, so we'll do what we can tomorrow.
Thank you very much. We'll now open this press conference up to questions from the floor. Please remember to give your name and publication for the transcript.
Oliver Brown, The Telegraph. Question for Lewis. Niki Lauda was clearly instrumental in bringing you to a team where you've won 4 of your 5 world titles. Also a man known for his very blunt advice to his drivers. Just how influential do you reflect that he was on your development as a driver?
Firstly, just the other day, I didn't feel I didn't feel like I was really ready. I think Toto also felt similar, and maybe for Valtteri as well. It wasn't time for us to really dig deep into our feelings because we were still reminiscent of lots of experiences that we've had. Me and Toto have had multiple conversations this week, and also myself and Birgit. I was really in touch with Niki a lot through this past 8 months. We'd be sending videos back and forth to each other, and it was always difficult because some days he looked good and he was really perky, and I'm coming back, I'm coming strong, and I'll be at this race, and then there's other days where he had immediately lost a lot of weight, and so it was definitely tough from afar. And then I was very fortunate I got to see him. And when I found out the other day, I was just thinking, because I was here home in Monaco, I was down by the pool where I live, and I remember getting a call from Niki in 2012, and we had never really spoken, me and Niki, and so he's on the phone, he's like, no, you should come to Mercedes, this is where you need to be, and I remember that's the first time we started talking. So I'd always talked about how Ross was kind of the convincing element in me coming to the team, because he told, when sitting down with him, he explained what the team was doing, where it was going, their plans for Mercedes, and I truly believed in that vision. But Niki was the one that brought it to me and really and got it across the line. And then all of these years, he's been kind of my partner in crime, you know, all negotiations. When we're pushing for improvements on the car, he was just such a racer. And even though he wasn't racing himself, he would come up to us and he'd be, what can we do better? Is, you know, what needs to be improved on the car? We tell it's front suspension, or it's downforce, or it's the engine. He'll, okay, and he'll go to the factory and he'll be given the muscles, like he'd always say. So yeah, ultimately, he was a part of the process of changing my life. You know, if I hadn't had the call with him all that time ago, I would be a one-time world champion now, and probably 22 wins or whatever it was when I was at McLaren. You know. And I sit here, a 5-time world champion, and I definitely feel like I owe him a lot. And so it was very, very difficult at the beginning of the week. Everyone's posting pictures and straight to post a picture, and I don't feel like I need to conform to how everyone operates. I took my time, and again, coming here on Wednesday, didn't feel like it was the time to do that. But yeah, we all love him and miss him, and it's hard to imagine or to think when someone goes, you're never going to get to see them again or to talk to them and have conversations, but I've got the greatest of memories with him, so he will live on in all our memories.
Giovanni Messi, News Formula One from Italy. My question is for Lewis. Hi, Lewis. So, in my opinion, in this time, you were happier than the other qualifying for the result. Maybe because seeing the speed of Valtteri after the first run, you didn't believe in this result?
No, I think it's a combination of things. It's, you know, it's a tough, very, very, very tough track to get the pole. Often when you're qualifying, in qualifying, particularly here, the first lap is even more important. Then second lap is the one where you take all risk, and often it's the one that's usually yellow flags or traffic or something. So the percentage, the chances of you improving on the second lap are smaller, and also Valtteri was had the opportunity to improve on that second lap. And again, just because it had been a difficult week, the desire to perform well and get that first. It was just elevated. So once to get it, to come across the line, I went across the line. I knew that I was up on my time, and I knew that I'd be pole for a second because I came out turn one. I could see the screen, but I didn't know where Valtteri was, and I could see a Red Bull come by, and then I passed the screen, so I didn't know where Valtteri was, and it was quiet for some time. I think it was until I got to the tunnel or to the chicane where they came and told me. So after that, you're just sitting there with your fingers crossed kind of thing, you know. Not that I really had my fingers crossed, but that kind of feeling. And it was just, yeah. And it's just great because I've been doing it such a long time, you know, and to still have that desire and that will and that excitement, that's encouraging because I want to be here for a little bit longer if I can.
Scott Mitchell from Autosport. To the two Mercedes drivers, Valtteri, obviously frustrated with what happened for you. Is that because you feel that it was the tyre prep or the warm-up that costs you pole, or do you feel that there's something that you could have done differently? And Lewis, you mentioned that sort of feeling, waiting to find out what the result was. What was that feeling when it sort of came over you, and we saw that reaction afterwards, jumping up on the fence? So could you just talk us through those moments, please?
Valtteri, if you want to go first with...
Yeah, the issue was for me the traffic on the outlet. There was a couple of cars I was stuck behind and then pass off the line, and obviously you collect a bit of dust on the tires and you can't get enough temperature. This track is really, really critical, and already turn one I felt tires were not there. It was just every corner slower and slower until I had a big snap in turn 8 or something. So yeah, that was it. And like Lewis saw on the screen, he was on in the lead. I saw then at the swimming pool area that he did manage to improve his lap, and I knew that's game over. So that's the name of the game.
And Lewis, your emotions when you were told by the team that you'd got it?
Yeah. What was it? Was it the actual question? Just emotions, or?
Yeah, and talking through the reaction afterwards, you saw you jump to the fence. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, So through the qualifying session, through practice, I wasn't able to get the first time lap. So that's why I went into Q3, and I was like, I'm going to do a prep lap. And then I did a prep lap, and then my lap, the first sector was terrible, and it didn't pay off. And often when you don't have the foundation level, the first banker lap to then build upon, the second one you have to dig deeper. So normally you do a good time, maybe there's half a tenth behind or half a tenth ahead or whatever it is, and then you can build on that and take, you don't have to take drastic risk, but you can just improve on that and hopefully hold position. But I was 2 tenths behind. Normally he would probably improve another tenth or two as the track does improve. So I'm digging deeper and going a little bit further into an unknown, and it was really on the ragged edge the whole way. And I mean, that's how it should be. But geez, yeah, when I came across the line, I didn't know if it was enough. I think I came out of the swimming pool, I was 0.039 up. And then came out of the last corner, and that started to just drop down to 0.033 or something like that, and it could have been that half a tenth. That could have been the difference, who knows? So I was just waiting for a long time to find out. I was like, where the hell is Valtteri? But tell you, talk about sitting on the edge of your seat, not knowing what's happening, and when you're getting that call, if it's good or bad, it's horrible either way, the wait. Sometimes you get it and it's, it wasn't good enough, and you're like, damn it, and then you start to reminisce of the lap, thinking, okay, I could have done better here if I'd done that, and how the race has gone, but can be. But fortunately, it was a positive call, and it's always great. Bono's been with me for 7 years, the longest relationship I've had with an engineer, and so it's really great to see his encouragement and his excitement as well.
And then just a spontaneous decision to jump on the fence with the fans.
Oh man, I was just so super hype. I couldn't help it. So I tried to hold it in, but yeah, the fans are great here. There's a lot of Brits and a lot of British flags, and I don't know, just a spare moment thing. Felt the fence was going to come over actually, so luckily it didn't. But yeah, I think ultimately, in life, probably for all of us, there's great things that happen in our lives, and we probably don't always celebrate them. I've won races and just, you go straight into a meeting and then you go home and sit and watch TV and just do normal stuff and don't actually capture the moment. And so I think it was just important for me to enjoy the moment, because, you never know when your next pole is going to be. You never know when that moment's ever going to happen again. So I'm grateful for it.
Jerome Pugmire, Associated Press. Question for Lewis. Earlier on, you used the term "best prepared" to describe how well Mercedes have been preparing for several seasons now. Given that, is it astonishing for you, and as a consummate professional, to see the baffling and, quite frankly, bizarre mistakes that Ferrari are making?
Well, I don't know I've not really watched them today, so I don't know what mistakes. I saw obviously Sebastian, which is very easy to do here. And the Red Bulls are always really quick here, and Max does a great job, so I don't really know where the whole layout is, but I think they've got a really good car. For some reason, it's really quick on the straights and a bit slower through the corners. We're quicker through the corners in general. I think same for the Red Bulls. So I think they have this year taken a slightly different philosophy, and it naturally is currently not working everywhere. But I think they were quite quick at some points through the session. But it is such an intense battle naturally still. Whatever package you have, you're still trying to squeeze every little drop out of it and more. And when you're on 100, when you're on that knife edge, you're prone to make more mistakes. When your car is a little bit, when your car is off the pace, you hope as a driver you can bring another 2, 3, 4 tenths, whatever it is, so you push it beyond the limit and you make more mistakes. That's a natural thing. So I don't look at it anything less than them just pushing as hard as they can.
That question was because Charles got knocked out in Q1.
He did what, sorry?
Charles got knocked out in Q1.
I didn't see
16th.
that. Oh, I didn't even know that. What happened? Just didn't get that.
Didn't go back out at the end of the session. Didn't do a final run, and Seb was the last guy across the line to actually knock him out.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know that. But, so that's just all about preparation, and and it's really a formality. We sit down and we talk a lot about the plan. Even till going into Q3, we were talking about the timings and the preparation and what we're going to be doing, and the communication is constant, and that relationship's so important. We've got great people within our team that are just not not competent at the moment. They're not. Is that the right thing? Yeah, they're not making mistakes, and they're delivering on their word, as we are. So
just to clarify what my question was. Claire actually said on TV it's absolutely unacceptable.
What happened to him in Q1 that they kept him in and didn't send him out, probably to save tyres, and he just couldn't understand the decision making. That was also part of the question.
Sometimes it happens, they'll have a minimum time, the knockout time. They'll say the least time is this, and they'll predict that the track is going to improve a certain amount. And you go out, you do a lap, and they'll say you're safe. There was my first lap. They were like, you're safe, but you can stay out and do more. I decided to stay out and then better my time and see the track improve. And I've in the past sat in the garage and they're like, we're on the edge. We might go out again, we might not. They chose to risk it. We don't really take many risks, so like that. Just behind that. Behind that. Just sorry.
Luis Vasconcelos from our press, actually for all three drivers. For the two Mercedes drivers, this wasn't a very great track for you over the last 2 years, but now you dominated it. So do you see any areas still where the car needs to improve? And for Max, if they're even quick here, almost half a second faster than you, is it discouraging, or you think there's still time to catch up and beat them?
If Valtteri, you want to start with the Mercedes side?
For sure, it's very nice to feel that in the car the improvements we've made here. Example, how it felt here last year or the year before, but even to last year is the car gives a lot more confidence to the driver and is more drivable in this kind of track now, and that allows me and Lewis to really push it on the limit and really kiss the walls and so on, and it makes it more enjoyable. So for sure we've improved a lot, but there's always things we can improve. There's still some things with the handling. Some corners are still a lot trickier in terms of balance to the others, and a bit more grip, a bit more power, and it's always better.
Lewis, your thoughts?
Yeah, the same. The great thing with technology is it always can improve. It's never perfect. So, and that's probably the beauty of what our job is. We're always evolving. We're always improving. There's always something more. We'll go back right now, and yes, we've got 1-2, but we'll say constructive criticism. We'll be, this could be improved, that could be improved, and hey, so and so work on that area, and they'll be like, damn it, when is it going to be? When is it going to be enough? It's never enough. That's why it's a great sport. We're always pushing.
Thank you. And Max, your thoughts on the gap to Mercedes here?
Well, I don't think it's half a second anyway. But in Q3 we just didn't get the tyres to work. So around here that is very crucial because in Q2 we were competitive. So yeah, we know that we have some work to do to catch up. But as a team we keep pushing very hard to try and do that as soon as possible.
I'm just wondering, with you gentlemen being first and second, and with the church St. David being just up the road, can we expect team orders, at least as far as the first corner is concerned? Will you have a chat with Toto?
Oh, chat. I thought you said the church.
A little conversation about who should get there first. Should one of you be, whatever. It's quite hairy up there.
Could we just get name and publication?
Have you been up there?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
And I've seen lots of guys going straight on there. So,
yeah. Well, the start, we're only in full throttle for like a second and a half, or 2 seconds, something like that. It's very short. We don't have team orders. We're currently fighting for a world championship. The great thing is Toto and the team allow us to race. We battle it out. We're responsible men. We always talk about the turn one in every scenario, whatever track, the last one, every single one, when we're 1 and 2, and how we're respectable. We can be aggressive, but ultimately we still want to be 1 and 2. So we both know where the limitations are, and yeah.
Luke Smith, Crash.net. A question for Max. Saturday in Monaco last year is spoken about widely as being a key point for you. Christian said the other day he thought it was the lowest point of your career. to be here 12 months later in the top 3 press conference and having taken the fight to the Mercedes drivers, is there a certain level of redemption and satisfaction that you can take from that transformation?
No. I also don't think it was the lowest point of my career. So those things happen, unfortunately. And of course, last year we had a great opportunity to win it. And yeah, sometimes you need the ones which hurt a bit more to become a better driver. And that's exactly what happened last year.
I have a question. Can I ask a question? Does anyone know how the... okay, Valtteri Bottas
from Finland.
Mercedes, yeah. Anyone knows the ice hockey game, Finland-Russia, how did it end up?
I was just about to ask. It's 0-0 after 2 periods.
Okay, thanks.
What's this? Ice hockey?
Yeah?
Is
Ice
this
hockey, yeah.
ice hockey?
Yeah.
Okay, next question at the back there, please.
Daniel Horvat, Racing Line.hu. Valtteri, you said in Barcelona that strange clutch behavior caused you the win. I think the team changed it for you this weekend, but have you already found what caused that problem?
Well, on Wednesday, I had so many questions about this already, so I don't know. I'm sure the information is somewhere, but yes, we've found issues and we've fixed those, and there's no concerns on that.
Christian Mehnert, motorsportmagazin.com. Question for both Mercedes driver. I don't know who it was, but one of you had a really big drift in the lows and hairpin. Can you explain that? Because that looked really, really cool, and I've never seen anything like that with a modern Formula One car there.
Yeah, actually last week I went rallying in France, so I had like a blackout and I was in the rally mode for one lap. So no, I just used a bit too much of brake pressure at the rear and had a drift. Obviously not the quickest way around with this car, but.
Arjan Schouten had a question for Max. Max, outside after quali, you mentioned some problems on the floor, I think. Can you explain something more? There was a hurry with the mechanics to...
Yeah, we were still building the car together. Yeah.
It's Livio Rico, globalsport.com. Louis, a very general question. But I remember 2005, you celebrate your 2 victories here in Formula 3. And today you are celebrating such enthusiasm. Can you make a bridge between these 2 periods? At that time, did you imagine you could reach the point you reached today in Formula 1?
I have a pretty good imagination, but it's more like space stuff. But I definitely, this is, where I am today is beyond my dreams, I would say. Yeah, I was in Formula 3. I was obviously signed by McLaren and Mercedes, and this was the perfect platform to be able to show your ability, and had a really great team. Had 2 really awesome races. I think the first one was pretty straightforward, and the second one I clipped the barrier, and I had a broken rear pull rod, I think it was, and I managed to pull it home. And so I guess that was a cool demonstration of still being able to keep your cool even though you've made a mistake. And then the following year, I remember I was fortunate enough to know Felipe, so I'd get to spend a little bit of time with Felipe as he lived here, and I had a really awesome time in GP2. And I knew I was getting close. I remember I was in GP2 winning the race here, and I knew I was getting close. And I didn't know when the opportunity was going to come to get to Formula 1, but I every now and then I was like, I'm sure I can compete with the guys at the front, I'm sure. And, but it was a long, long time ago. But I still have fond memories of it. And honestly, I prefer the older cars that the old go-karts back in the day were better than the go-karts today. You got the water-cooled stuff today. And the Formula 3 cars that we had before were way cooler than the cars that make much better noise. And then obviously when I got to Formula 1 in 2005, 2006, the cars sounded better than they do today. But still, the sport is fantastic. And but yeah, geez, we're rewriting I'm rewriting my story, or the story's being written as we go along, and it's who would have known it would be as great as this.